Okay, hi everyone. Today we're making chicken Alfredo. So we're gonna start off with cutting our chicken so we could get it to cooking. Right now I am gonna cut off the fat, so we don't need that. And the pieces we're gonna cook, we'll just put right there. So right now I'm just chopping off the fat, and I have water boiling for the noodles. For the noodles, you could use whatever noodles you want, obviously. It honestly doesn't matter unless you're trying to go for like a more, I guess, authentic fettuccine Alfredo, you would call it. Because, well, if you want it more authentic, they use fettuccine noodles. And if you know how to make your own noodles, even better. So I'm just going to cut this chicken breast in half. I already cut out all the fat. So I'm just cutting it in half right now, just so I could chop it up. I'm just gonna try to chop it up into like strips. You could honestly do these strips as big or as small as you want. I'm trying to do them thinly. So like for instance, I'm doing them kind of like this. You could do them smaller, you could do them bigger, however you like. It's honestly just preference, self-preference, whatever you call it. However you personally like your chicken or whatever. This last strip, I'm just going to cut it in half. Okay. I'm just going to put my strips to the side in a bowl. If you don't like touching chicken, I suggest you wear gloves. I really don't mind. I just thoroughly wash my hands after. So it's not a big deal to me, but I know some people either don't like the texture or just find it unsanitary, which is also self-preference. Okay, so in my non-stick pan, I'm gonna drizzle some olive oil, and then I'm gonna let the pan heat up a little. Okay, just like that. And we're also gonna put just a little dash of butter. So there's a little piece of butter. We're gonna let this pan heat up before we throw in the chicken. Right here, like I said, I have the water boiling, so we're gonna go ahead and drop our noodles. This water, I did put a little bit of salt and the smallest dash of the olive oil, just so that the noodles don't stick together. So let's go ahead and add our noodles. Okay, so you could either season your chicken before you put it in or after. I'm gonna do it now that it's in the pan. We already threw it in there. So now I'm gonna season it. Okay, so I seasoned my chicken, and I'm gonna continue cooking it because, like, as you can see, it's still like pink. Obviously, it's not gonna whatever. So I'm gonna continue to cook it. So I seasoned it with lemon pepper, garlic powder, Old Bay, and black pepper. So we have our noodles boiling right here. We're gonna turn them off at this point, because we only want to cook them to al dente. We don't want to cook them all the way because we're going to cook the rest in the sauce. So let's turn that off. I don't have exact measurements to how much I seasoned this, but I just sprinkled some over until it was to my liking. Everyone is going to season to their preference, so with the seasonings I use, just put as much as you think you need. If it's your first time making it, just light-handedly keep moving it around. Once your chicken is cooked, you can go ahead and taste the piece. If it needs a little more, you put one seasoning, move it around, and then you can take it off the stove. And just FYI, you do not want to throw away your pasta water just yet. So when you drain your noodles, you don't want to throw away that pasta water. Keep it, okay? So in the same pan we cooked our chicken, we're gonna go ahead and add a cup of heavy whipping cream. We're gonna go ahead and bring that up to a very light simmer. Get all the flavors of the chicken in. We're gonna go ahead and do 1.5 cups of heavy whipping cream, and I'm using this one. I do have my pan on low heat right now, so I'm just gonna slowly bring this up to that light simmer that we want, so that we could be able to add our cream cheese and it could melt. Today I'm going to be using the Philadelphia cream cheese. To this, we're also going to add a little bit of the spaghetti sauce. I'm using the same thing that I use the heavy whipped cream, that's why it's a little foggy. Not about that much. That should be enough. So I just added about 2 dollops of Philadelphia cream cheese, and I'm going to let that melt in, and then we'll come back to that, season it up, and we'll practically be done with our sauce. Okay, so now that we brought it up to a simmer and all of the cream cheese is practically gone, I seasoned it with some black pepper and a little bit of Old Bay seasoning, because I do want like that Cajun taste, that seafoody taste, even though we're not putting shrimp in there because I didn't have any today. But shrimp would also be very delicious with this. If you wanted to add shrimp, I would suggest cooking the shrimp first, and then no, cook the chicken first and then cook the shrimp. I've done it before, so in the same pan, nothing happens. It all goes in the same place anyway, as long as it's cooked thoroughly. And then you're gonna just do the sauce the same way, so you could do shrimp and chicken, or you could just do the shrimp, but it would be the same thing. You would cook the sauce in the same pan as you cook the shrimp or chicken, or both. So now that you see that it's a nice thick consistency, because now it's thicker, now it's ready, and we could go ahead and add our noodles. So now that you have that, I suggest before you throw in your noodles, you taste your sauce. I tasted mine, and I'm actually going to go ahead and add a little bit of chicken bouillon and maybe just a little dash of pink Himalayan salt. I did put salt in the water of the spaghetti and added it to this, so that's why I really don't want to do that, add too much salt. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to add just a little bit just to give my sauce more flavor. And I'm going to go ahead and turn off the heat right after that. I'm just letting the noodles absorb a little bit of that with the heat on, just so that they cook a little bit, since we did leave it al dente. Now I did add in the chicken bouillon and a little bit of pink Himalayan salt, and you could either, when you're done with your noodles, you could either put the chicken on top, so serve the noodles and then add chicken, or you can go ahead and add the chicken how I did, just in there. I don't suggest using a metal thing with a non-stick, but this is the only scooper for spaghetti I have, so I gotta go buy a wooden one or something. But for now, I'm just using it just to serve, so I wasn't mixing around with this one. I just wanted to go ahead and show you guys how it's looking so far. So this is it.